Hello and welcome to the C++ series. In this video, we'll create a program that can decide whether or not a visitor is eligible for a discount based on their age. These are the instructions provided for this program. So let's dive right into it. First, we'll declare an int variable to store the user's age. Then, we can add an if statement which allows us to confine the execution of a block of code to a certain condition. An if statement has a condition section written between two parentheses. If this condition is met, the body of the if statement is executed, which, similar to the way we put our code inside the main section, is wrapped between two curly brackets. So now we have a code that will print a message stating that the user is eligible to get a free pass if they are 12 or younger. We can check this by seeing if the age is less than or equal to 12. We can add another if statement to print the full price if the user is older. Now, let's assume that we were asked to print a custom message for users who are exactly 12. First, I remove the equal sign from the first if block so that it doesn't cover the scenario. Then, I add another if statement to check if the age is equal to 12. To check if two values are equal, we use two equal signs. Because, as you remember from the previous video, a single equal sign is used to modify the contents of a variable. So that these operators don't get mixed by the computer, the single equal sign is reserved for assignments, and two of them represent the equality check operator. Well, I don't really think printing that message is a good idea, so let's revert to our previous code. Currently, our code has two if statements checking opposite conditions. One is checking if the user is 12 or younger, and the other is looking for the exact opposite of that, users older than 12. In this scenario, we can replace the second if statement with an else statement. An else statement will run only given that the if statement's condition isn't met. If the user is 12 or younger, give them the free pass. Otherwise, print the full price. Well, this code looks good. And as you can see, it generates correct results in our tests. But what if the user enters a negative number as their age? Because any negative number is lesser than 12, they will get a free pass. To prevent this, we can add an if statement to validate the input. So our program can print an error message if the age provided is negative or smaller than 0. However, if we add it as a separate if block, it'll print the error but won't stop our program. So we will still continue to the second if block and provide the free pass. To solve this, we can move the entirety of the second if statement to the first one's else clause. So it'll only check for the user's eligibility if the age isn't negative. If you run this program, it first checks for the age not being negative. If it isn't, meaning that it is positive, the program goes on to check if the visitor is 12 or younger. If so, the program hands out the free entry ticket, otherwise it prints the full price. But this code isn't that readable and easy to work with, as we have a number of nested code blocks. To address this, the else if block was introduced, which is basically equivalent to what we just wrote but kept in a single line of code. So essentially, the else if block will run given that the if statement's condition isn't met but the else if block's condition is. It's worth noting that the number of else if blocks isn't limited, and you can create as many as you want before the else and after the if block. For example, we can modify this code to provide a 50% discount to visitors between the age of 13 and 18. This new code prints an error if the age is negative. If it wasn't and the user is 12 or younger, it provides a free entry ticket. If that condition isn't met and they are 18 or younger, meaning that they are somewhere between 13 to 18, it gives a 50% discount. And if none of these conditions are met, the full price is printed for the visitor to pay. Be sure to visit the description for a link to this video's exercises. That was it for this video. Thank you for watching it till the end, and I hope to see you in the next one.